So if you've just picked yourself up a shiny new Xbox Series X or S for Christmas, then you're likely working your way through Xbox Game Pass and wondering where to start. But if for some reason you haven't yet subscribed to Game Pass, then we have 15 reasons for you to do so, as today on the channel we're going to be sharing with you a selection of our personal favourites, some mainstream, some lesser known, both old and new, but all top quality in our opinion. Now if perchance you're looking at picking up some games or Xbox Store credit this Christmas, then be sure to head on over to CornerShop.gg where you can use our code CORNER to save 10% on your entire purchase. But with that said, be sure to drop a like if you enjoy this one, subscribe for more Xbox related content, and let's get started. So kicking things off then, we have the absolute masterpiece of a game that is The Outer Wilds, and this one offers an experience unlike anything you're likely to have played. Trapped inside a 22-minute time loop, Outer Wilds sees you exploring a miniature solar system whose sun is set to supernova, and it's your job as a fledgling member of the Outer Wilds Ventures space program to hop into your tiny spaceship and head out into the void in search of answers. Amongst the stars, you'll discover an exotic array of planets, including a stormy water world filled with violent water spouts, binary hourglass planets, and a planet slowly being destroyed by its own moon. And I don't want to give away too much with this one, but the world evolves over the 22-minute period, opening up new secrets to explore, and with each time loop you'll piece together the mysteries of what happened and why you find yourself trapped here. It really is a phenomenal game though, and a must play for anyone who enjoys exploration, puzzle or narrative driven adventure games, and of all the games on Game Pass, The Outer Wilds would probably be my number one recommendation as the first game you should pick up and play. Now the next entry on this list is in fact two entries, those being Ori and the Blind Forest and its sequel, Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Two stunning action platformers which follow the journey of Ori, a guardian spirit destined for greatness, with the first game seeing you trying to save your home from destruction, whilst the second has you trying to reunite your family and discover your true destiny. Now I've purposefully remained a little obscure with those descriptions as the storyline plays a big part with these ones, but each of them blends tight platforming and Metroidvania-like exploration with puzzle solving and emotional storytelling, all set to some beautiful hand-painted visuals and an absolutely outstanding soundtrack. Over the years I've played many platformers, though very few have actually left a lasting impression on me, but the Ori games have just the right balance when it comes to gameplay and emotionally engaging storylines, and if you haven't yet played them, then I highly recommend you do. So Paradise Killer is one which I myself haven't yet found the time to dive into, but Alex has spent plenty of hours with the game and has a lot of good things to say about it. This one though is set on Paradise, an island which regenerates every few millennia and is populated by immortal gods, only they turn out to be not so immortal when the island's council is murdered, and playing as a resurrected detective called Lady Love Dies, it's now down to you to find out why and who the perpetrator is. The game is essentially a murder mystery adventure game full of eccentric characters, each of which has the potential to be the killer, and through gathering evidence and solving cases you'll be narrowing down the list of suspects before putting them on trial and presenting your findings to a judge. Be warned though, you only get one shot at this trial, so your detective skills better be up to scratch, but diving in for additional playthroughs will allow you to make different decisions and eventually solve the case. All in all though, an awesomely unique game with some incredible visuals and audio to boot. Now when it comes to racing games, Game Pass has plenty of options depending on whether you're into your simulation races or more arcadey ones, but as someone who isn't really into the genre and doesn't play them often, Forza Horizon 5 is an easy recommendation for those wanting some light sim elements. Able to be played both offline or online, Forza Horizon 5 drops you into Mexico, a massive open world comprised of 11 different biomes, each of which look magnificent, offer unique environments to race through, and feel more suited to different race types. And there's some nice variety, including standard road and dirt races to street and drag racing, and my personal favourite, cross-country racing. On the campaign side of things, Horizon Story Mode has you competing in various race types in each region, unlocking new cars and special events as you go, but there are also a ton of different minigames strewn about the world for you to compete in, and the event lab even allows players to make their very own races and game modes. You will of course need a different vehicle for each of these types of races, and the game doesn't disappoint, with everything from supercars and classic muscle to rally, drift and even trucks, but all of them can be customised till your heart's content and upgraded. And on the whole, I'd say that Forza Horizon 5 is probably the best option for the more casual racers amongst us, and very few games in the genre come close to the amount of content it has to offer. Now, shooters are another genre which divide opinion, and depending on your preference, you'll either lean towards the more realistic tactical ones or faster paced arcadey ones. But for this list, we've gone with successor to the OG daddy of all shooters with Doom Eternal. With the armies of hell invading Earth, it once again falls to the Doomslayer to don his visored helmet, grab his chainsaw and kick some ass. And the combat in this one is as fast paced and brutal as ever, giving you an awesome selection of weapons to dismember demons with, which alongside your suit come with a plethora of upgrades allowing for different playstyles. Thanks to these and the wide assortment of abilities you can acquire, the game also has a tactical edge to it, having you string together kills and giving you a lot more manoeuvrability, allowing you to leap about the arena and tear enemies apart with your bare hands to restore ammo and health, so it's less focused around you not taking hits and more around dispatching demons as skillfully and as fast as you can. As expected, you'll also have to take down some behemoth demon bosses on your quest for glory, but with plenty of tools at your disposal, this should be a cakewalk for the Doomslayer. Now, if you're looking for something a little more chill to play this Christmas, then Donut County will be just the ticket. A physics-based puzzle game which functions similar to the Katamari games, but instead of rolling up objects to create a massive ball, you'll be controlling a hole in the ground which grows as you drop objects into it. The story with this one though is as wacky as its premise. Trash-stealing raccoons have taken over Donut County, and you play as BK, a hole driver who after falling into his own hole is confronted by the townsfolk who are also stuck down there and want answers. Throughout the game though, you'll get to explore each character's home, solving puzzles through combining the objects you devour, and basically just running riot and swallowing up everything and anything in your path. But overall it's an extremely chill game which can be completed in just a couple of hours, so a great one for a casual playthrough if you're just having a lazy afternoon. Now, another game which I can highly recommend if you enjoy puzzle games is Superliminal, and this was actually my favourite puzzle game of 2022 and one which features some mind-bending mechanics focused around optical illusions and player perspective. Trapped inside an experimental dream therapy program and guided by the voice of its creator, Superliminal has you manipulating objects and your environments to solve puzzles, with your perspective on objects controlling both their size and their physics. So if something looks huge, then it is, but Superliminal is a game which is best played rather than explained. There are some incredibly innovative puzzles for you to solve, along with a ton of different Easter eggs and secrets to find, and its premise is unlike anything you've likely to have played, but fans of games like Portal will no doubt have a blast with this one. Our next game is one which probably needs no introduction, but No Man's Sky is perhaps the biggest turnaround story in gaming history, and for a game which received such negative reception on release, it's sure come a long way and now is undoubtedly one of the best space exploration games in existence. Throughout countless updates and expansions, creator Hello Games have transformed what was once essentially a lackluster mining sim into something really special, over time adding online multiplayer, community events, extensive base building, new vehicles and creature taming mechanics, and even the ability to command your own fleet. But these are just a few of the many things that the game has to offer. No Man's Sky though is a game which gives you no real direction on what to do or where to go, instead opting to let you loose to explore procedurally generated galaxy-sized galaxies. And while there are a few different quest lines to follow for those seeking a little more structure, for the most part it's a sandbox universe where you'll be hopping from planet to planet and system to system, treading your own path and writing your own story. It may have had a rough start, but the years of polish have definitely paid off for this diamond. Inside is our next tile, and admittedly this one is a bit of an oldie, but it's still a goodie, and definitely worth a play if you have a spare couple of hours. Spiritual successor to 2010's Limbo, Inside follows the journey of a lone unnamed boy as he makes his way through a dangerous world full of unsettling environments, whose inhabitants appear to be living in some kind of oppressed society, with many of them being herded like cattle and having experiments run on them. Similarly to Limbo though, gameplay features a mixture of platforming, stealth and puzzle mechanics as you attempt to evade capture and avoid meeting grisly demise, all in an effort to uncover a dark secret, but the less said about this one the better. Just know that it's fantastically dark, and alongside Limbo, these two games are must-plays for anyone who has yet to experience them. So Chorus is our next recommendation, and once again we're heading out into the depths of space for a fast-paced space shooter with a heavy focus on storyline, and the game sees you playing as Nara, who alongside her sentient spacecraft, the Forsaken, is on a mission to defeat the cult that created her. Fans of classics such as Everspace or Freelancer will feel right at home with this one though. It's heavy on the action, featuring some fast-paced space-based dogfights and huge open star systems for you to explore, plenty of quests and side quests, and a ton of different upgrades and abilities for your ship. But like I said, it doesn't skimp on the storyline either, with plenty of in-game cutscenes and dialogue for you to enjoy, and an engaging plotline with a good amount of lore to build the world in which you venture. If you want to know more about this one though, be sure to check out Alex's review for the PS5 version of the game, but in our mind this is one of the best space-based action games on the platform, and it strikes a great balance between action and storyline. Hollow Knight then is another game which needs very little in the way of introduction. It's a game which has been acclaimed as being one of the best action platformers and modern day Metroidvanias, and has set the bar high for both the genre and for its soon to be released sequel. This one though has you exploring the beautiful hand-painted world of Hollow Nest, an expansive and interconnected network of tunnels and biomes populated by all manner of creepy crawlies, some cute, some not so cute. But this once great kingdom has a tainted history, and as Hollow Knight you're here to discover what exactly happened to it and hopefully restore it to its former glory. There's a ton of lore to unearth with this one though for those willing to take the time to seek it out and talk to its inhabitants, but if you're just looking for action, the game doesn't disappoint either. It has some incredibly tight combat mechanics, over 100 different enemies including 30 challenging boss fights, and a vast array of skills and abilities for you to choose from. Just know that it's not the easiest of games, but it's certainly worth the time and effort. Now, the award for most stylish game on our list undoubtedly goes to Persona 5 Royal. From its over-the-top character designs and flashy anime cutscenes, to its phenomenal jazz, funk and rock-infused soundtrack, it's a game with more drip than a broken faucet. Its story follows Ren Amamiya, a newly transferred high school student who alongside several other students find themselves exploring the metaverse, a supernatural realm created from humanity's subconscious desires, and here they must cleanse the inner demons of the corrupted personalities they meet. Admittedly, its plotline is somewhat difficult to describe, but gameplay is twofold, featuring some life sim elements as you go about your daily routine, attending school and socialising with your friends, and the dungeon crawling aspects of the metaverse, featuring strategic turn-based combat in which you invoke the power of various personas in the form of both characters' inner rebels and the personas of enemies, which once released can be captured and used in battle. Unfortunately, there's far too much depth to the game to do it justice to cover in this short segment, but anyone who's played Persona 5 will agree, it's an absolute masterpiece in the JRPG genre, and if you're looking for something to sink hundreds of hours into, then Persona 5 Royal definitely fits the bill. Now, if you're looking for a hardcore survival sim to get stuck into, look no further than The Long Dark, a game which holds no hands and takes no prisoners when it comes to its mechanics, challenging the player to survive for as long as possible in the frigid Canadian wilderness. Featuring both an episodic story mode in which you play as a crash-landed pilot struggling to survive after a geomagnetic storm, and a permadeath survival mode where you get to select from 10 different biomes to start in, The Long Dark is a harsh and unforgiving exploration survival game in which your every action has consequences. There are no base building mechanics and thus no way to get settled and comfortable, and instead you're given free roam of the biomes and must rely on your ability to scavenge, hunt, fish and find shelter as you strive to maintain your body temperature, fight off fatigue and avoid starvation. Unlike other games in the genre, outside of the story mode there's no real end goal in this one, it's just you versus Mother Nature and the elements, and death is your only way out. But the depth of its simulation mechanics, coupled with its immersive atmosphere and methodical gameplay, mean it's a definite must play for any fan of survival games who are looking for a real challenge. So Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice is a real underrated gem of a game which blends atmospheric storytelling with puzzle solving, elements of horror and methodical combat, which is similar to God of War without the Kratos Chrome Dome and all the flashy jumping around. Set in a dark fantasy world inspired by Norse mythology, you play the role of Senua, a picked warrior seeking to rescue the soul of her dead lover by venturing into Helheim, the Norse afterlife. And throughout her journey, Senua struggles with her own inner demons and the memories of her past, which, to be honest, really add weight to the experience, exploring subject matters such as mental illness and psychosis. As you venture through the underworld though, you'll discover more about Senua and her quest through the undertaking of trials, which task you with solving puzzles using Senua's focus to discover runes and navigate mazes. And while the combat itself is relatively simple, the slower pace and methodical nature of it, requiring well-timed dodges, parries and counterattacks, really fits with the overall tone of the gameplay. And all in all, I'd say that Senua's Sacrifice is one of those games which is guaranteed to leave a lasting impression on you. Now, to round off today's list, we've gone with a roguelike deck builder, a somewhat niche genre which includes the likes of Slay the Spire and Dicey Dungeons, but today we're supporting the underdog that is Monster Train. Tasked with relighting the fires in the depths of hell, the game has you descending through the rings of hell, fighting back against hordes of demons determined to extinguish your precious cargo, and the unique twist in this one sees you deploying minions to each floor of your train, utilising both their combat abilities and a wide assortment of spells to halt the demons' ascent and assault on your pyre situated at the top of your train. As with all good deck builders though, there's plenty of variety when it comes to the cards, with the game having 5 unique monster clans for you to select from, and the roguelike nature means every run is different, with you collecting and upgrading cards, gathering powerful artifacts and plotting your own route through hell as you battle against ever more powerful demons, slay bosses and engage in a variety of random events. A really interesting spin on the genre though, and in our opinion, a truly underrated gem of a game. And so there you have it, 15 must-play Game Pass titles for those new to the service, and there are many other worthwhile plays which we couldn't fit into this list, but these are just our personal favourites, so feel free to leave your own suggestions down in the comments section below. If you want to know what our favourite Game Pass titles of 2022 were, then we have an upcoming video on that subject, so be sure to subscribe for that one, alongside regular reviews, weekly deals and other Xbox related content. But for now, drop us a like if you enjoyed this one, have a fantastic Christmas, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Thanks everyone, take care.